Welcome to What the Biz, where we talk about building successful businesses, balancing life, and all the WTB in between. With your hosts,
I'm Bridget Vector.
And I'm Dan Prochko. Yeah, we're back for another one. How's it going?
We're here.
We definitely are. And I'm excited today because we're talking about what I sometimes call the bane of my existence, social media. But I have a breakthrough today, so I'm excited to talk about it, okay? I have been on social media since it's been invented, like back in 2002, 3, 4, when Facebook first started coming out to just colleges. We didn't even know what social media was. Like, I've been on it this whole time, and it's always just like, why? How do I win on it? And I have a strategy I'm going to share with you that we've been using that has really moved the needle quite a bit. And I know, Bridget, you've seen some of the numbers, and it's really, really darn simple. So look, when I say your social posts suck, it's not because you're not interesting. It's because you're not using social media right. That's what it is, okay? And we're going to go through that today because I know everybody's frustrated by posting on your page and you're getting 1 or 2 likes, but you got thousands of followers and for some reason things aren't blowing up and you're not seeing what you need. You know, people aren't seeing things. They're not commenting, and that's what you want. You want that engagement. You want people to come through and then fill out your lead forms, etc. So we've got a framework for you. I do, at least. It's really an hour a day is all it takes. I know, like, this is really crazy, bold statements I'm making today. It's simple. It's 1 hour a day, 1 post a day, and it's going to deliver crazy results. So that's what we're going to talk about today. But
I love that you're breaking this down to an hour because I have a love-hate with social media.
Yeah,
like, I don't
same.
want to be on there any longer than I have to be because you get sucked into the scroll hole, and I don't want to be there. So I am super excited for this one.
Yep. And like every week, that's my co-host, Bridget. So I'm going to share this whole last week has been fun because we just got out of Kalamazoo Improv Fest. Happened just a bit ago, and we were performing my improv team. If you listen to the show, you know I do improv. I talk about it enough, okay? Nothing new. But it was so much fun. There were 21 teams. We had teams from Chicago, Detroit, Grand Rapids, all came here to Kalamazoo. And basically for 3 days, we just every evening for like 3 to 6 hours, it's just straight improv. And it was really a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Yeah. We went to the rival WMU Central game.
Oh, nice.
Recently.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. WMU pulled out the win.
It was at the very end of the game.
Oh my gosh. So I will say it got cold. My daughter brought a lot of friends with her, so we had a whole crew with us, and I was like, okay, like, let's just start heading out of the stadium. And about that time is when the stadium erupted because they decided to pull it out. So we've been having a lot of fun family time lately. On the last episode, I talked about the never-ending Monopoly game. We also have like never-ending family poker going on. Like, I never thought I'd be excited about poker.
There's just a poker table with chips up all the time, like of where you were. It just never ends
right now. And the 9-year-old was a complete poker shark the other night, and like we kind of thought he didn't know how to play, and he went all in, right? All in. So the accountant of me, like, I died. I was like, oh my gosh, like your fake chip life savings just went all in on the table.
Yeah.
He had like the best hand I think ever, and I'm like, did you know that? Or
love it.
Yeah. So
love
good
it.
times.
Cool. Well, let's jump into this because what I'm going to share today, and I know I showed this with you, Bridget, but I mean, I was shocked at how much improvement we saw on social media. Basically, we saw 400% increase, by using the strategy we're going to share today. We saw a 400% increase in page visits, 600% increase in reach, and over 100% increase in link clicks.
Crazy.
And this is really from just like 1 week of doing this. So just think about if you just stayed consistent through this, what would happen. So here's why this works. Okay. I mean, there's an algorithm on social media, and, everybody's just like, how do I game the algorithm? How do I game the algorithm? And the truth is there's no way to game the algorithm. That's why it is an algorithm. You have to play within the rules of it. And when it comes to social media, all they want is for you to keep people on the platform. So what most businesses do is we post to our Facebook feeds, to our pages, and we're constantly posting links to our website. Even if it has nothing to do with our website, it's like, here's 3 cleaning tips. By the way, get a quote here. That's a link. You know what I mean? And social media platforms hate that. So if we're going to do this strategy, the one thing we have to commit to is we are doing things that are not taking people off social, so that when we want to take people off social media, it's that much more effective. Okay. So we have to understand that piece. The other piece here is that this system will help you expand your reach. Okay. And this is all through leaving comments. Okay. I don't think enough people are thinking about comments on social media. When we comment on other people's pages, other people's posts and other pages' posts, that opens us up to new audiences. Okay. And so it expands our reach into places we wouldn't normally be seen. The third piece to think about is the network effect. So when people like our comments, not our posts, our comments, and reply to those comments, that shows to the algorithm that your page's posts and comments are valuable and that you should be shown to more people. Okay. So we have to keep those 3 things in mind. We want to keep engagement on the platform. We want to make sure that we value comments and that we craft those things in a way that gets engagement. Okay. And all of those things basically tickle the algorithm and make it all happy and giggly. And if you do that in the right ways, the algorithm will show you to more people across the platform. I think the short thing I said earlier was just like, who knew social media was about being social?
What? Like, we're supposed to be social?
Yeah.
I will say, typically the advice that we hear and we see everywhere is post more, post more, post more.
No, you don't have to post more.
Right. Because I think what happens when people post more is they're posting more of like, buy now, look here, look at what I have. Like, this is what you need to get.
Honestly, it's BS. They're posting BS. They're posting more ads. Honestly, if your posts are basically, we have this service, call us, or, hey, think about this other service, call us, or think about, or don't forget, get this. Those are all ads, Basically, you're just posting ads. Anytime you're asking for someone to convert, leave Facebook, come to your website for a quote or come buy a product, that is an advertisement. That is not a social post. And social media is social. So, when I stumbled across this and started seeing these results, was like, why is this working? Oh yeah. The whole point is be social. So this is really cool. Okay. It works in 2 parts. Okay. The first is your post. So basically, you're going to spend 1 hour a day on social, and the one thing you're going to do is post. Okay. And that'll take you maybe half an hour. Okay. And there's a structure to it, and I'll share that in a second. That's like half an hour because you got to craft it, etc. You probably don't craft ahead. You don't want to spend too much time on social. So you take that half hour to craft your post. Okay. And maybe plan out other topics, etc. The other half hour is spent commenting and replying to comments. Okay. That's basically the whole plan. It's those 2 things. There's a little more to it because the way you post matters here, but those are the 2 things, and that's all you're doing in 1 hour a day. And you should do it at the same time every day because, believe it or not, people will get used to when you're posting and will come find you. It's no different than like email and like an email newsletter. But if you just do it same time, same day, you block out that time, like we talked about last week, with having, blocking our time, and making sure it doesn't eat up the rest of our day. So half hour. So let's talk about those half hours. This is what we found. Okay. So you have this post that you're looking to write. Most people, when they're writing a post, will, just put some thoughts together and throw it in there. They'll just be like, oh, we have this service, or we have this product, or, oh my God, today this happened, blah, blah, blah. Don't forget to get a gift card, and there's nothing really engaging about that. It doesn't speak to our humanism, our humanity. I'm going to make up words as we go along here, Bridget. So the key thing, oh my God, I didn't hear you. I think we have a tech issue. Were you muted through that?
Oh, I was saying I'm totally cool with that because I would never know, and I would go with the words because I speak numbers, not words, and I love making up words. So maybe we should do a
Nice.
whole series of
Yeah.
social media posts with made
Yeah.
up words.
Totally. Cool. So breaking down this post. So the post has 4 parts. Okay. So when you're writing your post, there's 4 parts you want to think about. One is your hook. Okay. This is what gets people in to reading your post. Okay. You know, on Facebook, you really only see like the first 2 lines of a post, and then there's the see more button. So it's those first 2 lines or the first 3 lines. You really want to make sure you get these right. And these are really, they should be a bold, counterintuitive, or provocative statement that grabs the attention, or it challenges the common belief of the person. It could even identify with them. So, I tend to think about things that are based on a universal truth. Something like, hey, getting stood up on a date sucks. Have you ever like gone out on a blind date and the person you're supposed to meet never shows up? Like that is a universal truth, and that's something big and bold. And if you think about your company, why is this company talking about a blind date and getting stood up? Like, yeah, I know the feeling, but what are you getting at? Oh my God, I need more. That's a hook. Okay. From there, you take that hook and then you want to talk about the pain point. You want to explicitly state and validate the frustrating feeling or struggle that the audience is experiencing. So let's continue that example. Getting stood up, that makes you feel unseen, maybe worthless or lonely. Like you're not going to find connection, that is pain. And that's super compelling because everybody knows what those are. We see business posts a lot of time, Bridget, I don't know if you've seen them, where it's just like, do you feel like you're not getting enough leads and feeling behind? Like, that is not what I'm talking about here. When I talk about universal truths, it's about that personal struggle that we can identify with. Like, did your mom just has your mom ever passive aggressively told you XYZ? That's the universal truth, because who hasn't had a parent who's passive aggressive just once, It's just like, or your mother-in-law or something. Like, we all know that feeling, And so those universal truths, what they end up doing, the reason I like this hook and pain point universal truth piece is that we can attract in so many new people that normally wouldn't. So if we think about, like, if I'm looking at an analytics platform or a payment processing platform, there's only so many companies really looking at a new payment processing platform. So if I start with a post that says something like, do you want to save 2% on, are you sick of paying 5%? How many people don't care about that? But if you start a post with, man, the Tooth Fairy doesn't really leave enough money anymore. How many people are like, what are we talking about Tooth Fairy? You're going to bring so many more people into your post than just those looking for a new payment processor. So that's why I love those 2 first pieces.
So I can give an example that performed really well for us because it's a misconception in our industry that business owners think that because they have a CPA or a tax preparer, that they are like auditing their financial records for accuracy. So we had a hook that was around, and I should have pulled the exact thing, but it was around like your tax preparer is not auditing your books, or like, are you tired of paying Uncle Sam too much in taxes? Or do you feel like, do you feel like you gave Uncle Sam too much again? Because how many business owners have that feeling when they're writing that check of like, am I really supposed to be paying this much money
100%. Yes.
to Uncle Sam again?
Yeah. But it goes beyond business owners because everybody pays taxes. Like,
True.
like what is those things? Taxes, death, and I forget, the whole thing of like these things are true, but you're going to bring in grandma. You'll bring in the cashier at the grocery store. If that post gets put in front of somebody with that kind of a hook, yeah, who hasn't felt like I've been paying Uncle Sam too much for taxes? Let me read more. You hook them. They want to get in. And so that's where your post then transitions. So you then transition from that universal truth into talking about your business point. Okay. And you want to support the claims with personal experiences, share a client story, or give specific metrics. because this is the point where you are proving your authority around this thing. So that comes from your background, not from empty claims. And so, from there, it's, if we keep in this example, it's, when no one shows up to your webinar, it's the same feeling. This is that segue. When no one shows, if we're using this as a post to promote, like we might be promoting how to do marketing for webinars. So it'd be when no one shows up to your webinar, you have that same feeling. Is your business worth it? Do they care about you? Am I worthless as a marketer for my business marketing a webinar, and then go into, the truth is XYZ about webinars. That's what that whole segue would be, where you transition from that hook in. And at that point, you've got them. You've got this universal truth. You've segued in and shown how they connect, and they're hooked and they're in at that point. And that's when you then go into a call to action. And that call to action is two-part. You have a soft call to action and an engagement call to action. Okay. Your soft call to action should be like a low friction conversational piece that's like, that's why we created this 5-part package where we're seeing these results. It's really great. If you're curious about it, we put a link down below. Okay. But what I want, and this is where you transition that soft call to action into the engagement. And that's where you go, but I want to hear from you. Are you seeing, webinar attendees, decrease? Are you having a hard time? What is working for you? Let us know in the chat. You're going to help other businesses, in this sphere. And so what this post does is we hook, we build the trust, and we let them know we have a solution, but we're not linking to it. We just let them know we have a solution, but we're really asking them for engagement and to leave comments below. And so, like we said before, by getting comments, we signal to social media that something is valuable. That's what shows that a post is valuable. It's not just likes, it's shares and comments. So the post needs to have value in it. It needs to have something there for them to take action on and for them to comment and be engaged with.
So I love that you mentioned like the comments for engagement, because I think the comment a keyword to get something is getting overused too, where if you can get people answering or engaging, you can have a back and forth conversation. So not only are you satisfying the social media algorithm gods, right, in my mind, like the gremlins behind the screen that are making sure you get seen, but you're also building that relationship, right? Like you're now having a back and forth friendly conversation that if you do end up saying, hey, I really think you'd benefit from this resource, you've already had a conversation because you've gotten to hear maybe what they're experiencing, or maybe they are seeing a decline in, for this example, their webinars. Yeah. I like it.
Yeah. And so the key thing here is, even though you're teasing this resource, you do not link to it in the post. You do that in the comments. You do not do it in the post. You always end with a question that is open-ended, that allows people to share their expertise and make them feel like they're adding value to the conversation. Okay. So that's part one of this posting process. So again, that's lead with the hook, which is a universal truth. You acknowledge their pain point. You segue into your expertise and why this is happening and the issues that people are seeing. And then you end with a soft call to action that transition into an engagement question. Okay. So that's the post. And this is what you're going to post every day. You're just going to post once. That's it. You're posting once. And I'll tell you, you don't have to do it every day. We did this for just twice a week, and we saw huge results as well. So if you don't jump in as far as once a day, you could do just a couple times a week and it works. So that's part one. Okay. Now comes the second part. This is what amplifies everything. Okay. And this has to do with commenting. So the second 30 minutes of your time on social media is now going out and finding posts to comment on, relevant posts. So you're going to go into, it could be maybe local posts in your community where you're being helpful. It might be engaging with other local businesses. It could be engaging in groups on existing posts, not posting, engaging as with comments on other people's posts and adding value. Okay. And when I say adding value, I don't mean just saying, oh, that's a great post, I really like this. Adding value means we're going to share some actionable piece and ask a question. The key thing is to ask a question, and the more open-ended, the better. Because if you can get people commenting on your comment, That shows you're posting something that is valuable to social media. It's keeping people on social media engaging. So that's the key, getting people to comment on your comments. So you are going to, use that second half to do that and to reply to people who've commented on your other comments. So if you can keep a thread constantly going and get 3-4 responses to one comment, even if it's over the course of a week, something that's 4 or 5 days old, social media is going to love that. Okay. Now here's how this amplifies what happens. Okay. When you comment on another business's page, you open your business up to their whole network. Okay. And if somebody replies to it, that now signals to a platform that whoever just replied, maybe they should see your posts. Oh, and even more, maybe their network should see your posts, not just this comment, but your page's posts. So by commenting all over the place and getting engagement and replies, it's signaling to social media that all of these networks are networks that find your content valuable. And so even if they don't follow your page, because I think we've all seen our feeds now, it's full of things that aren't things we follow or our friends, it's going to put your content into their feeds because they've all engaged with your comments, not your posts, your comments. And that's basically social media saying, thank you for being social. We are going to reward you for being social.
I think this is 1,000,000% overlooked. The commenting strategy is fully overlooked. But how many times, because this proves that they reward that, is there badges? Like there are badges in social media sites that's like top contributor,
top contributor, etc.
commenter,
Yeah.
like topping, like they give cute little badges for this activity. Why? Because they want that type of activity. And if you are playing in that sandbox, you're going to get rewarded for being part of that activity.
Yeah. That's really funny. They were signaling this is what you need to do without telling us this is what we need to do. So yeah, if we just, if you work to become a top contributor on any page or in any community, you basically are doing the right things. But the key thing here again is you don't ask for a click. You're not doing this for a business reason. You're doing this for the social reason, so that when you do your one post a day, which is the business reason, okay, because you're going to have that link in the comments, that post is going to show up in all these people's feeds. And what's interesting is we've been doing this just for a couple weeks. We have posts from 3-4 weeks ago that we're still getting likes and comments on because we've been doing this. It has a very long tail effect. So we all think social media for a long time, we've all thought of it as like, oh, it's fleeting, things are gone. Not anymore. The algorithms have totally changed. We're not seeing things in real time. We're seeing things that are 3, 4, 5 days old or 14 days old. It all depends on the value and whether social media thinks it's going to get engagement, which what they're looking for is to keep people on the page. So that's the whole program. It's taking a half hour to craft a great post that has value that people may want to comment on or share, and then finding other posts like other local businesses, government pages, industry related groups, finding posts within all of those places to leave comments that are valuable and that get comments back. And that's it. That's the whole thing, an hour a day.
Love it. Like, I love how simple it is. And it's true. Like, my feeds are probably less people that I know than not. Right.
Yeah.
And it's coming up with the blue little like hyperlinks for follow, and you just hit it. Most of them are not current.
Yeah.
They had something that came, or they posted a post weeks ago, days ago, but it is not within, like, now I want to go look like for the stats on my page around this, because I have been noticing that. I'm like, oh, that's bizarre. Like, that post was made 9 days ago.
Yeah.
Like, right? I'm surprised that's showing up, because I think we're so wired to only seeing new things.
New things, right.
I don't think that's how it's working. And I think
it's not anymore.
On the head. Yeah.
It's all about engagement. Social media wants to keep you on social so they can show more ads. And so if you work within that realm, they will promote your stuff more. So don't post links anymore. Post those in your comments. People will look for them. People have started to learn that that's how, the major brands are doing it, and big influencers, that's how they do it, because they've learned this algorithm wants engagement. So yeah, and it's really simple, an hour a day. And you know what? If you have to spend more than half an hour writing a post, I think you're overthinking it. It is social media. It's okay if a couple posts are duds. You're going to learn, how to write these, how to get better at them, how to get more engagement. The real power is the comments, being valuable by going out and being engaging on other posts where we look to get replies. That's the key. The posts are all about trying to get a reply to your comment. So yeah. That's
and
it.
the less you overthink it, your own voice comes out. It makes it easier because you're not always trying to write in a different way that is not you. And you're gonna attract the people that like you then, instead of attracting those that like your perfectionist, non-you posts.
Totally.
So.
Yeah. Now, if you want to take this to the nth degree, here's the nth degree. We're going to make this exponential. If you can get members of your team to post on their personal feeds about business-related topics, and be the expert, be a subject matter expert, as it were, you can then reshare that to your business page. So literally just share to your business page directly. And then you both go and like and comment on each other's posts. You're going to just exponentially rise everything. Because it's not just the business posting and hoping business stuff happens. You're now getting into personal feeds and you're getting people personally writing things. And the system sees that, oh, this person's connected to your business because the business has shared their post. And then you've both commented and liked on each other's posts. So that's somewhat gaming just a little bit. But the point here is that you're expanding who is posting and you're expanding the network. Because by resharing, say, Bridget, if you write something on your Facebook feed and then Vector Financial shares it, that's signaling to social that Bridget's network should be seeing Vector Financial things. And your personal network is way larger than the business network.
Sure.
And especially as it relates to social media, social likes social, which is real people. So we like real people posting things. So if you can get 3-4 people in your business who love social media, who want to be an evangelist, not for the business, but for the subject matter of what makes, your service great and what makes products great, product reviews, insights, tips, etc. It can go, it can blow up like no other. It would be huge. It'd be absolutely astronomical. So that's the little bonus. There's your little bonus.
Great tips. And I don't think it's salesy. We'll leave it there because ultimately, if you own a great business and you're trying to make a good impact, you want people to find you.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Well, let's get into our What the Biz moment of the week. Here we go. It's the second time. This still feels so new. I like it. It's so new. Look. Okay. So I went first last time. So you're going first today. All right.
Okay. I'm calling this one a fail, and I am very intrigued to hear your take on this, Dan, but I'm calling this one a fail. So we ordered takeout from a restaurant who historically is a great place, like a great restaurant. But they must have had some sort of complaint about either a worker's appearance or what they were doing on the job and whatnot. And they actually posted signage on their doors addressing the incident. Like there was a whole management letter written. Now, I found this to be very odd because people that frequent this place and enjoy this place may have never even known that this occurred. And now they know, right? So I will say I read that sign and I was like, ooh, like, do we still want takeout from this place? Like we've eaten here before, right? So I thought it was a very odd way to address it. And I kind of said, well, why wouldn't you have just addressed this either on its own, maybe without the signage? Because if somebody was going to choose to not visit because of that incident, they wouldn't even see this apology letter on the door, right? Like they just aren't coming back. So I think management was trying to do something well, but I feel like this was a fail in the way to handle it because patrons to your place that may have never known this happened now have a different outlook, and they
Yeah.
now know.
I think it's all about the execution. You know, it sounds like the way the letter was written and the way it was posted just didn't fully give the context necessary to feel good about the correct decisions being made. It sounds like it was all written in a way where it left you questioning whether or not this is a place that I should even enter. And I think that's the fail here is like, I think there are like, we want to be transparent, you know. There is something about too transparent, but then there's also how, in what way are we transparent? You know, just saying, you know, if you put something on the door, hey, it's come to our attention, blah, blah, blah. We took corrective action. It's not an issue anymore. I don't know that has to get posted. I mean, there's always, you know, it sounds like this was a disciplinary thing around like what we wear to work and what we don't. Something was inappropriate. Great. There's some training. You address it and done. I mean, I guess it must have been big enough that they had to put something on the door. But at the same time, some things, it just feels like this is kind of a back room. No, you can't dress like that. Go home, change, come back. If you can't, you're fired. Like, I don't.
So
I
the
don't
letter
know that-
actually
yeah.
addressed that patrons witnessed this person eating over the food in the like back room, like the kitchen area. That's where they never said if the person was even like still employed or not employed. It was just kind of left as like it's been handled. I personally think a much better way to address this would have just been something like it was brought to our attention that an employee, a former employee, was not upholding our level of
Yeah.
standards, and like it's addressed like we're committed to being the best.
Right.
Like, it
Yeah. It
just-
sounds like it's execution. It's execution. You just got to execute
Yeah,
it properly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I felt like
Yeah.
that was a fail, and just be aware, right? Be aware of how you're sharing incidents, because it doesn't mean that we're not going to have incidents and that we're always going to be perfect, but maybe get some insight before you just slap a
Cool.
letter on your door.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Okay. So mine is a win. Okay. I think this is a win. There's a new business that opened up in downtown Kalamazoo. I'm going to name it. It's called Zero. It's actually tied to Kalamazoo Candle Company. It's a new non-alcoholic bar. I mean, are you familiar with the whole non-alcoholic like movement going on? Are you? I feel
Correct,
like as a Catholic, that's not. Sorry, I guess I don't have to go down that trope. But I love alcohol too much. I don't think I'm going to be going to many of these places. But here's the win. Okay, for me, I just love beer way too much, is what it is. But here's the win. Okay. It is a trend right now, and they're capitalizing on it. Okay. But I have to put an asterisk on this. Okay. It was a cool place. Okay. Let me talk about the place. It was a cool place. You can build a candle while you're there. You can shop. They've got other local makers. So I love what they're doing in that respect, that they're actually getting other local makers and their products into their shop, while also doing their own candles. And then they're doing mocktails. As a non-alcoholic bar. So they've got non-alcoholic liquor, and they're doing, you know, your margaritas, they're doing, you know, all these drinks, etc. And they're very tasty. Okay. My issue with this is around a model. If we think about like a bar and the point of a bar, and non-alcoholic is like, there's some reason to go and a thing to do. That thing to do at a bar with alcohol is alcohol, because it alters us. It makes us feel a certain way. That's why we're going. Okay. So a non-alcoholic bar, I think for it to survive, needs something more. And I don't know that candle making alone is enough. And I think what they're doing is really good, because what they've done is they're actually launching programming where they pretty much have something going on, definitely on weekends, but even during the week. And so that, I think, can bring people in. And I think that's how it survives. Because, and this is my preference, I think there are people out there that want something to do without alcohol, but I don't know that I'm going to spend $12 to $15 on juice, is really the way I look at it. That's my perspective of this. And so I think there are other people like me, many more people like me, and that makes it really difficult. And so trends are trends, and then there's everybody else in preference. But, you know, maybe you have a different take on this. I do still think it's a win, because I think there is a strong trend right now. And I think having this alternate place is really great, especially for those that aren't 21, but, you know, need something to do at night. But if you don't have programming like live music or a DJ or speed dating or something else, I don't know. I'm worried about long-term survival is where I'm at. But in the short term, I call it a win.
Yeah. I think it's a very unique model, right? So there is a huge movement around this. I also think there's a huge movement for those that don't necessarily want to be part of the bar scene, right? Maybe they really are part of the don't want to drink anymore land. Or maybe they're part of it because they have to be at this point. Like maybe they've overconsumed and they know they cannot do that anymore. Where I see this, like you, of like, okay, what's long term of this? Like, I kind of question who is their ideal customer, because those that don't want to be part of a bar scene likely wouldn't go to a bar scene that just doesn't serve alcohol, right? Because it may not be the alcohol piece. Those that maybe cannot or don't want to drink anymore because of maybe an issue with it, they will outright say they can't even be around a scene where even it is non-alcoholic because there's something that triggers in the brain to make them crave
That's a good point.
the alcohol again. So I kind of just wonder, to your point, like who long term is their ideal customer?
Yeah.
Because to pay $15 for juice ultimately is what it is.
Yeah.
How long is somebody going to pay that amount of money?
Right.
Like
now I'll say the margins are probably great. The margins are probably awesome. Okay. Because there's no alcohol in it. But I just think about that. I mean, we see at all the bars everywhere we go, there's a mocktail menu now everywhere. They're doing non-alcoholic versions. And they still cost like almost as much as a normal cocktail, which blows my mind a little bit, which maybe in the end means all the mixers cost way more than the alcohol itself everywhere we go, which is pretty funny. So that's my take on it is it's definitely a trend because we're seeing mocktails everywhere. We'll see if it becomes something long-term that sticks around. Considering it's the first and the only one in Kalamazoo right now, I think gives them a really good head start. Being a first mover is an important thing. Question is, are they too early, or is the trend strong enough that it's sticking around? So those are all the things I have in my brain. In the end, I still call it a win because it's something new. They're capitalizing on a trend, and honestly, the bar part of the establishment is at the back. It's very easy for them to just shut it down and just use it as candle making station and whatever else. If you go in and you take a look at it, it can be converted pretty easily if they decide that's not going to work anymore. So I think they were smart in that way about it, but I'm curious to see where this goes. It's really a cool, interesting thing in that way.
Yeah. Wish them success. And I think you're onto something with like tying in some programming or things to do might be a good long-term game plan.
Yeah, and I know they're doing it. They've got trivia nights. They're doing, live music. They're doing, all of that stuff. All the things like a bar would do, they're doing to make sure that there's programming for things to do. Because otherwise, you're just in there smelling candles, and that's not the point of going out. You want to mingle and meet people and do whatever else. So yeah, cool. Yeah. So hoping all the best. I think it's a neat idea, and we'll see where it goes. Cool. That's our episode today. Thanks for joining. I mean, it's been 2 weeks with the What the Biz moment of the week. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Let us know in a review. That's it. You just got to leave a review. Okay. Wherever you listen, whether that be Apple, Spotify, any place where they put a review for us, please leave one for us. We'd love to know what you think. If you have an idea for a future episode, check out whatthebiz.com. We've got a form on there. And you can let us know, and we'll put it into the mix. We'll see if we can make it happen. But with that, I think that's our episode, and I don't have... Sweet.